Alright everyone, welcome to this particular fourth part of the video. So in the first, second and third part we've done a lot. So if you've not watched that particular part of the video, you might want to go ahead and take a look at that and see what we have done right there. Cleaning up the data, writing, DAGs and the modeling, we have done all that. So what we're going to do right now is to start to tell the story. That is very important. So we want to tell the story and all of that. So if you're really interested in seeing how we are going to do all this, so let us just work together. Let's do it. All right, here is PowerPoint. Kindly create a template here and let's go to Power BI. All right, right here in Power BI, all you have to do to get the template you've created right in here is to right click and you can see where it says Format Canvas. Click on there. That is if you're using the new version of Power BI. If you're not using the new version of Power BI, you might want to download the recent version of Power BI and have the same view just like what I have. So I'm going to click on this particular, browse here. And now I have all the templates. I'm going to pick this one first, transaction. Then you have it on 100%, reduce it to 0%, and you have this. All right, without any delay, let us quickly start building our visual here. Already we've written our DAGs and all of that. So to get into the data, click on view. And from view, click on data right here. And that activates this for you, right? You can see you can toggle between this and this, right? So now for all our measures, we have them right here. But we don't necessarily need to come here to get our measures. So what can you do? Right click and you can see where it says add visual. And we've just added a new visual right now. And this is one of the fun part of the new version of Power BI. So I'm still saying it. If you have not updated yours, go ahead and do that. It will definitely pay it off. So I click on this particular add data and I can actually see what I'm seeing here. I can see it right here as well. Then all I need to do now is to actually open this place up. So now you can see all we have right here. So what I want to get now is to see how many transactions we've had over time. So I've just gotten that right in here. You see that? Very simple and easy. So it's actually working through it. So we're going to see the visual in a jiffy. So here comes all the total transaction we had. So I just have to reduce it. And once I've done that, I can actually, move it down right here. So once you've done that, what you need to do right now is to make sure you click on this particular, plus right here where you have this particular format painter and click on that. You can actually go ahead and click on more and you come right here to actually have it formatted. So the first thing I want to do is to remove the background. I click right here and if I scroll down a little bit, let's see what we have. Now I have this background here. I've taken it off, right? That is better. Okay, let us go back up and actually have this closed. So we go to this particular, call out value and we click on this part here to change what? To change the color. So that is better. So we put the color on white and beautiful. So once we have done that, we can just go away and click on this particular category label right here and change its color. This time around, I want to use something a bit darker. Oh, not that bright. Oh, so I think this is cool, right? Okay, let me just use something brighter. Something like this. That is nice. So we can just reduce this to make sure it sits right here properly the way it should be. But right on this particular one right here, if I'm not really much satisfied with what I have, all I need to do is just to make sure I crank it up a little bit to put it on 13 and that is actually okay. So once I've done this, I don't have to repeat this over and over again. All I need to do is to go to home. You can do Ctrl+C and Ctrl+V to paste it, but you can actually use this particular part to do the same thing. Can you see it? All I need to do now is to move this right here. Don't bother about what we have here right now. We're going to change the color, but let us do all this completely. So we're doing it. So finally, we brought this here. And I have one more to actually paste, and I'm going to bring that one right here. Can you see that now? Okay, nicely done. So on this one here, I want to put my quantity ordered. So all I need to do is to click on this one. Watch the magic. You don't have to remove this before you do that. You can just click here or you click in here. It's going to actually, okay, I think if you do that right here, it's going to make sure it highlights this place for you. So can you see this particular arrow to the right hand corner? Click on that and it's going to open this up for you. And from here, you can select what measure you need to show. So the fun part of this is that if you can't find the measure you need to show, you can actually get it right here by typing QT for quantity. Okay, I think return quantity order. Okay, now we don't have a measure for that, so we gonna have to create that quickly. So we've not created that measure. All I need to do right now is to click back right to this particular part here, open this place up, and make sure you right click on this part. And now you can see where it says new measure. So once you click on new measure, let's see what we're gonna have. So all you have to do is to know where your quantity is sitting. I mean the column and the table where that column is. So once you know that, it's very simple and easy. You can quickly go ahead and grab it and create an explicit measure for it. So here we are. So QTY is my quantity. So I'm going to say equal sign here. So I use the sum function to just aggregate the column where we have it. So I just want to use the explicit measure instead of the implicit measure. So let me put order, and we should have order quantity here under the fact table transaction. So remember we have two fact tables. So we have fact table fact table return, and we have fact table transaction. They are both fact table, and I renamed them in a way I can actually remember and know what is sitting on which, all of that. So now under this, now you can see fact table transaction, it has order quantity. I want to pick that. That is what we need to actually aggregate. So we hit enter, and that is all. We've just done the justification to that. So the next thing we need to do right now is to go back to our visual and pick it up. That is all we need to do. Oh, last thing before you go, make sure you still have the measure you've just created highlighted and have a comma separator on it for the thousand, million, and billion purpose, wherever. So once we've done that, now we can come here and just click on this part here. We can now see where we have the quantity right in. So we've just changed that right now. So we can see what we've done. I'm clicking on this place and I'm switching to the formatting, and I'm coming here to change the color to it. So for the color, I want to use something a bit darker. So what if I go with this color right here? And that is beautiful, but it's too huge. What can I do? Let me reduce this to 30 and see what I have. Okay, 30 is actually fine. That is beautiful. I would prefer something like 35, would be much more catchy. So what about this? That is beautiful. Okay, if I'm very much satisfied with what I have, I can do with it. And all I can do now is just to go here. And now if I click on format painter, it copies the format. I'm going to have the format right here. I do the same thing to this particular part as well. So now I can go ahead and change this one to net sales. So we've done all this in the previous video. Just go ahead and take a look at the first, second, third before the fourth video if you don't understand what is going on right here. So I click on this and I just look for my net sales and have my net sales right here. So that has been changed to my net sales. That is beautiful. So the next one now is my profit margin. So I just do that right here. I go right here to choose the profit margin. So we locate where we have the gross profit margin right in. So a lot of it, right? So what can we do? Let's find out. So I'm gonna have to expand it to see what I have right here. Can you see? A lot of it. So what do we do now? So let us quickly come back here. And here we have it. So we need to just remove the extra decimal, put 0 here and hit your enter. Let's do that. That will save us for the size going to be 48. Beautiful, right? So now we've just done that, so we can just have this right here. But one thing is still really not quite well. That is going to be, let us click on this particular part to solve it from one place before we definitely decide to copy and paste it. So right here, we want to change the color. Let's go with this color. So that is exactly what it is. So now we can paste. We can paste right here. So if you look at it now, we just need to actually format something here. To do that formatting, click on this particular part. And now you have to double click on this part here. Once you have this highlighted, click on it to remove the part you want to remove. So here we go. This is what I want. So profit margin. And I have exactly what I want to see. Can you see that? So on this part, what I want to see is actually the total products we have, but I'm not really sure if we have that already. Let's find out. So click on this part here and try to make a change. So we go for that. Yes, we have it. That is exactly what it is. So on this part right here, I just want to do that. Total products. So here we go. That is beautiful. So I can actually expand it a bit, and I can just take it. You can decide to bring it down like this. And for this particular color category label, I want to make sure it's a bit bolder than this one here. Click on this and select this particular one right here. I think this is better, way better. Okay, now if you don't want to use the color I have for it right now, we can bring the color down a bit. Oh, sorry, that was for the text, right? For the text, I want to make sure it's bright, just the way it is. I want to go for this part here and change this. Oh, nicely done. So we are done with this one right here, right now. So let's see what we can do next. So the next part is our fun part. Like when I say our fun part, it's really our fun part. So we want to actually break this particular transaction down by month, quarter, week, day, and year. So and we just want to create what I call in-page navigation to navigate through it in just one single place without we switching to another page. So how do we do that? Very simple and easy. I right click and actually go for a new visual, add visual, and here we go. Okay, right now I want to actually add visual for months. I can decide to change it to a line chart. Line chart will be very, it will be an ideal chart for we to use to visualize this kind of data month, right? So I'm gonna actually expand it this way. So just try to, do with what you have. So once you've done this, the next thing is for you to get in our data. Remember, we have a date, a calendar. So inside the calendar here, I want to pick my month. So my month is here. So once I have my month in here, the next thing I do is to actually scroll down. It has changed this to a table for me. Why did you do that? Oh, sorry, it was my fault. I think I just have this particular suggest a type turned on. So it doesn't see some the other axis. It does feel like there is no y-axis. Why should I leave this on the line chart for you? So let me go quickly and change this to a table. Don't bother about that. So we can fix this later. So go to add data right here. And now what we want to see this bar is transaction. So we go for the transaction. So now we have the other axis. And again, it has changed this into another chart. I don't fancy using this kind of chart to visualize such data. So I want to change this one to this chart right here. A line chart is an ideal chart for me to use, and I prefer using this a lot. Okay, nicely done. Quickly, I want to go with my formatting immediately. I don't want to just, let's say I will like later after all. So I'm going to go to my x-axis right here, and quickly I have to turn off the title for the x-axis, right? So it's on now. So I've turned that off. That is beautiful. I would like to actually make sure I have a border. Yeah, this is popped out right now. So we close this and we go to y-axis right here. And what we can do now is to scroll down a little bit to get to where we have the title right in. And that is gonna be this right here. We turn off the title, and for this axis right here, I just want to let it be there. It's optional. You can turn it off if you want, but for me, I just want to let it be right. Okay, yeah, like this. All right, now we have this. This is just one step to go. So we need to create multiple of this chart, and I want to use this particular color. What can we do if we can't remember what the color is, and if we don't have the colors anywhere? So it's very simple and easy. All we have to do is navigate to where we have this. If you have already created your template in PowerPoint, just right click and you go to where it says format. I think it's going to be format shape, right? Yeah, format shape. So you click on that and it's going to actually open up where you can pick up the color code from. So go right here, go to more colors, and now we can pick the color code. So that is where we're going to have to just highlight this part here and click and copy. So we go back here. Now we are on our line chart. So we want to format it. We go to line to change its color to match our dashboard the way it is. So scroll down a little bit and go to transaction and go to more colors. Well, from more colors here, we want to actually paste the code we've copied. So now that is better. So now we've just changed our color. So we can step off from it. So this is our first, chart. So the second chart we're going to create right now, we might want to turn off the background. So you just have to come here and you scroll down a little bit. You are here, you turn this off. So the next thing is just for you to copy and have this pasted. And inside this one, what do you want to have here? So I'm going to move it away from there. Have the same size. Please do not resize this. Just make sure it's on the same size. Don't worry about when I shift it away. We're going to make it to be on the same line afterward. So now we want to change this particular, I think this is our x-axis or y-axis. So you should know your axis very well by now. So we want to change this axis right here. So what we can do is to click on this part here and we scroll down. So once we get to where we have the x-axis writing, you just click on this place, right? And you change it from that particular month to weekday. So when we get to weekday, we don't want to use the same chart again for weekday. So this is the chart we want to use for a weekday here. And that is beautiful, right? Okay, nicely done. So I can just have this one kept here now. I can paste on that one. And I'm going to move the one I've just pasted in. We just click on this particular part to change it. So we go right to move it down, change this now to our quarter. Okay, once we've done that, we need to update the chart type to something better. So we go with this. So that is beautiful. So we still move this up. So it's a bit clustered, right? Don't worry, we'll fix everything up in a jiffy. So I pasted on that one now. And what I need to do is to move this away from there. And I'm going to come here, click on this again. And we just scroll down a bit. Before then, I can decide to just change it for now. And scroll down and change from month again. I'm going to change this to the year. Oh, nice. That is beautiful, right? Can you see that? This is exactly what you need to do to actually have all of them changed the way they should be. Okay, right now for the formatting, I want to be some kind of a bit different with the formatting right now. Okay, what we can do now is to do some kind of conditional formatting right here. So I will scroll down and see where I have my column writing. So I click on this particular FX here. So I don't think I've actually lost my code. Do you remember that code we copied? Let's find out if we still have the code right here. So I'm going to take this off and have the code pasted. So we've lost the code already. So now we just have to pick the code once more. Just this time around, we're not going to come back again for any damn code. So we've just copied the code. So we step off from here. So we highlight this place, take it off and drop in the code. So this is what it's going to do. So the highest value is this and the lowest value is going to take this color. What about this? If you want to change this color to another color, it's your choice, you can do that. If you want to add middle color, it's your choice, you can do that. But I don't want to do that. I want to have this two gradient color. So click on OK, right? Oh, let's see. This is what you have. So now we just go to this particular legend here and turn it off. So that is beautiful, right? So click on this particular part and do the same thing to it. Click here. It's going to be fast this time around. So all we have to do is to go for this particular gradient. And we want to base that to quantity, count of quantity. No, just change it to transaction. Make sure you are consistent with that. Change to transaction. Then you come here and make sure you paste in the color you've copied. That is beautiful. You do that. So you have this. So just make sure you turn off the legend away from here. And finally, you click on this to do the same thing. Just click on this one. This time around is basing this on the first week. You don't want to do that. Click here and go to all measures and change this to transaction. And make sure you go to this and use the gradient fill, gradient right here. And now you change the color alone. So I'm going to paste the color code. So if I click on OK, that is exactly how I have gotten this. So you can see I still have my, my transaction legend here. I just have to turn that off. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is beautiful. We've just done justification to this. For now, we don't need this for the time being. I can just go ahead and go to view and I want to go for this particular selection here. So for our selection, I want to have them named. Oh, are they named? No, they're not really named based on like what I want to use. Okay, what I can do now is, can we just do this? Let me see if I can. Yes, sure. Now we can do this. So now we can see transaction by week, transaction by quarter, transaction by year. I think this is self-explanatory. I love it. So we want to just leave it this way. You understand? Leave it this way. So what I need to do now is for me to make sure, I just want to take this back to where it belongs. Oh, should I leave it this way? Yeah, sure, we can. Okay, now I'm going to select everything. We can just do the selection here. I'm going to select this first. Select this. So they are all selected right now. So once we have gotten them selected, go to your format and go to align and align bottom. No, we don't want to do that. Yeah, align top. Okay, we go to align center. That is beautiful. So align middle. So we can pick all of them at the same time now. So we can find where we want to drop them in. They are actually on the same size now. We have it just like this. Can you see? We've grouped them together and now it's easy to actually navigate through. If I turn this off, turn this off, turn this off now, I only have one showing. If I decide to turn this off and turn this on now, I only have one showing as well. This is exactly what we are trying to get into. But we don't want to do this manually. We want this to be some kind of dynamic. Let me show you how this looks like on the real, our Power BI service. So here we go on Power BI service. If I click on home now, I can from home to go to that, go to detail right here. So click on detail. So from detail, we have this. So if I click on quarter, all I want to see is just quarter alone. And this quarter is based on transaction. If I click on month, I see month as well. So now on the line chart, just like this. And if I click on quantity ordered, so I want whatever I see on this particular chart here should be about quantity ordered. So I'm seeing month now, I'm seeing quarter. So quantity order by quarter. If I click on net sales, I want to see my net sales based on the time series we have selected. Can you see that? That is exactly what we are about to get into. So let's get back to our Power BI desktop. So we are right here again. The next thing we're going to do right now is to start to actually get into the main action. All right. So now we don't need to see this. We go to insert. So we have button, we have shapes. Which one do you think we're going to use? I believe somebody's guessing already. So if you've done this before, you know what to be used, right? So let us click on buttons. On buttons, here we go. We have these lots of buttons right here. So the ideal one to be used right now is the blank one, right? So click on the blank button right here. So I don't know why it jumps to the left-hand corner. So I'm going to have it somewhere we can see it better. Can you see this now? So we have border around it. So first of all, we have to actually work on this. So let me go to I'm going to go to the button style here. So open it up. And for these rounded corners, we just want to make it round to look like normal button. So I can just put this on 5. Let's see what we have. Step off it. And it's not really cool. So we go back to it again. So we open it up. We just put it on something like 12 and see. So that is okay. I think I love this, right? But the thing is this, I don't actually like the border we have around. So I want to take off the border for now. So take off the border. Let us go to style, under style. So we go down a bit. So on the style, we have the fill off. So that is not where we should go. So go back to here. So now on at default, we want the color to be when nothing is selected. So we want the background color to definitely be something like a gray color. Yeah, here's the fill color. So the fill color, we turn it on. So what we want for the fill color is something like this. When nothing is selected, this is the color we want to have for it. Can you see the color now? Does the color pop out from here? It doesn't really pop out. So we just have to change the color to something that will definitely pop. So let's go with this color. That is better. So we have this color at default. We have this very color. So now what is left now is the background. We want to take off the background. So we have to scroll down to see until we see where we have a background and go ahead and turn the background off. That is that. Sorry, the border rather. So the border is actually being turned off. So this is what we have. So we can just adjust things like this. So make sure you have what will contain what you want to do. So now we can bring this right here when we are done. So right now we are not yet done with this. So what we need to do now is to click back on it, on this particular part here. At default, the text we want to have on it is actually our month, right? So turn on the text. So come here and type in month. So this is the month here. Then we have to select the font type. I want it to be bold. I just want to have it on this, and now let us have it on something like 11. That is going to be better. So on hover, I want something to happen. On hover of this month here, I want it to increase to like 13. So can you see that now? This is just the effect I want to put on it. So 13, you have to remember this because we have to be consistent. Do we have to do this again? I guess no. Okay, the next thing now is just for me to copy and have this pasted. So we just pasted this now. So for the selected one, we just want to change the color. So we do this once and we do copy and paste. That is all we need to do. So for the selected one, don't use the hover now, use the default. So select default here. So we go to the fill color for the selected one. What do you want to happen to the fill color? So we want to use the color we've used before, this very color here. So this is the color that shows what is being selected. Can you see that now? Can you see it? This is the color we want to see. So the same hover is what we want for it, right? So this is exactly what we want. So right now we're going to actually have to select both of them, copy, paste. And now we can actually bring this down here. So what we need to do now is to select this one here. So open this place up and we just scroll down to where we have the text. So month to I think it's going to be quarter. So to quarter. So select this one, change to what? Change to quarter. So something like this. If I hover over it, this is what I have. So I'm done with that. I paste another one. Then I move this one down as well. So we quickly make a change to individual, button right here. So click on this and we scroll down a little bit. So from here now, let us do this for weekday. So when we hover, it's fine. So we do under weekday. So when we hover, it's fine. So that is beautiful. So we paste more. I think that is the last one right now. So we bring it down here. Okay. So we select this one. I believe you know what this button is going to be for. So this button is going to be for our year. Scroll down a little bit. So here is the year. And we go for this. Here is our year when we actually on the active part. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have everything already. So I'm going to have to select both of them, right? So I want to turn this one on. So this is actually what we have here. So individually, I want to name this one. So let me deselect this first. So when I select this one here, I have it active here. So I will definitely have to double click on this particular part to rename it. I'm going to type this one to be inactive. Inactive what? Inactive month. So we select this one. So we double click on this particular part here. I'm going to type active month. So active month. So then the next thing I need to do now is to make sure I group them together. So they are both selected. So once you right click, you can see where it says group and you click on this group here and you can rename the group. So you can double click on it and just name it month BTN for button. Okay, now we have them grouped. So we can open this place up and select them both. So once we have them selected, we can go to format, align center, so align middle. So now we can move this to where it should be. So let's have this here for now. Okay, we are done with that. So I click on this particular quarter right here. So this is inactive quarter. Inactive QTR for quarter. So this one here is my active quarter. Active QTR. So the next thing I do now is just for me to make sure I actually, group them together as well. So we need to group them together. I want to take my time to do this for you to understand what is going on right here. So double click on this and just say quarter BTN. So quarter BTN. So open it up. So once you've done that, you can select the content inside the folder. So now we go to format again to do the same thing we've done. So here we go. We can have this one moved as well. So don't bother about the alignment here for now. Don't worry. We're going to fix everything. So we can have this closed. So we have that. So now this is our year. We're going to just do active year. So I'll come to the next one now. Here is my inactive year. So remember what we're going to do? So we have to group them together as well. So here is going to be my year BTN. So once we've done that, we have to open it up to actually select the content we have inside the folder. So once we've done that, you know the drill. Just go here and make sure you align center and you align middle as well. So we move this right here. I told you, do not bother about how they are actually sitting right now. We're going to arrange them. So we are on the last part of it, right? So just some kind of select this and inactive weekday. So we select the next one and double click to activate and edit it. So here is our active weekday here. So we select both of them and pull them inside a folder or a group. Yeah, that is a folder, right? So double click on it. And here we say weekday BTN. And after that, we have to open and select the content we have inside it. So we just go to format for the last time. We see center. And we just say finally, we say middle. We get this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to put this right here. It might not be accurate because I spent a lot of time doing this. So what I need to do now is just do this. All right. So it is time for you to start to create our in-page navigation. The first thing you do is just for you to highlight this particular part right here. All the buttons are being highlighted. So go to format, right? Go to align here and do not align center and bottom this time around. Just align top. That is better. So come here and distribute horizontally. That gives you equal distribution. The size, the space between them are equal. So we are done with this now. That is another step to take, right? So the next step we should take right now is to see how we can actually get this down. So let us click on this and see what is actually active. What is active now is weekday. That is the chart on our view right now for weekday. Okay, now for other buttons, I want to shut them down. All I want to say is the inactive one. So I'm going to go to here. I'm going to turn off the active. And all I want to see is just the inactive. Can you see that now? I'll have it closed. I will go to my quarter as well. So we click on quarter here. Okay, the quarter is turned on. The active one is what we're going to shut down. That is better. So I think that is for month, year. For quarter, this is the quarter here. So we go for the active, we turn it off. So we have the weekday on. So now this is where the big deal starts. Make sure you click on your chart to see what is being selected right from here. So the next thing you're going to do now is this. This is the active one. Go ahead and hold your control key to click on it. Both of them are highlighted. So once you've done this, you can now open the content and see what is inside it. Oh, I think here we go. So open the content and see what is inside it and have the folder. Is it the folder or the group? Have the group selected. Don't select the content inside here, else it is not going to work. And this time around, we want to keep the active one and select the inactive one. Here's the inactive one here. Click on this. It has been taken off, right? So make sure you select this particular weekday BTN. The BTN is what you should select, and as well the chart on view. Then let us go to view here and turn on the bookmark, my favorite part as well. So once you've done that, verify that you're still having this selected and this selected, then go back right here and add bookmark. Double click on this particular part right here and say active T for transaction weekday. Can you see that now? All right, I knew why I put that T right there. I'm going to tell you why in a jiffy, and you know what it is and why we are doing this. So now we have this. The next thing we're going to do now is to open this particular part where we have these three dots. Click on it, deselect that. Now go ahead and update this. That is better. So go back right here. This time around, we don't want to have the chart in to be visible. So deselect it. Still make sure you have it selected. Then come right here and deselect the active one. Then we have something like this. The chart is still on view, weekday, and the BTN is still on the active selection. Go back here, add another bookmark, double click on your bookmark and rename it to inactive T for weekday here. So that is beautiful. So we come here now and deselect this. We go right ahead and update this. So watch what happens when I select the top one. The bottom, the top, the bottom here. Can you see that now? That is better. So I want to keep this on inactive, right? And I'll go back right to this particular part here. So this time around, I'm done with this. You can close it. You can now say, okay, I want to go for my year. Right now, I clicked on my year and I will go for the year BTN. I'll click on it. I'll make sure if you want to do that, you hold your control key, then both of them will be highlighted. Hold the control key to have this one opened. And once you've done that, you can actually make sure you leave this the way it is right now and go back right here and add this. So we're going to say inactive T year. Can you see that? So follow my lead, you would have what you want. We update this. So we get back here now. This time around, what I want to do is to hold my control, turn this on, and I'm going to come here, deselect this one, and turn on the active one. So the inactive is being turned off and the active one is being turned on. So we go quickly back here, we click on this, we double click this particular one here. I'm going to say active T for under year, and you do the same thing I've done before. So do this. I believe you've catched up what I'm doing now. So we've done that. Okay, I just love to try to see if this is working for me, and it's working very well. Can you see it now? Can you see it now? Can you see it? So I'm gonna put it on inactive, then I'll go back here now. I'll turn this off as well. So we've done for weekday. Now let's just go for quarter. So for our quarter, we've selected it. We just want to go for the quarter BTN. And this is exactly where it is. So we have to make sure we open it down. and we have selected the BTN as well as the chart itself. We quickly go back to the top here and we click on add. This is going to be our inactive. So inactive TQTR for quarter. Yeah, QTR for quarter. I hit my enter and I go here. I do this. I click on update. So we go back here to activate it. So to activate that now, we can hold our control, select this and have this activated now. The quarter button is activated. So we quickly go back here now and we go here, double click on this and we say active T QTR. So now here we go. If I do this, I get it done, it's working. So I'm gonna keep it on this one as well. So the final part right now is my month. So I have this closed. I select my month BTN and I select this as my month, hold my control key and open the BTN down. Then what we need to do now is to create the inactive first. I might be a little bit fast, but just try as much as you could to pause this. You will definitely understand what is going on. It's not in any way complicated. So I will double click this. Inactive TQTR. Oh, I think this time around, this is going to be month. So sorry for that. Month, inactive month. So we do this. We update it. So we go back here. So this time around, we turn it on, we turn this on, we turn this off. So it's active. So we make sure this is selected and this one is selected as well. We go back here, we add a new one, double click on it. Then this time around, I'm gonna do active T month. Oh, that is better. So always do this. You do this. All right, finally, we have arrived. We've done it all. So it is time for we to start to get things working now. I'm gonna put them all in inactive. And it's time for we to select this particular part right here now. And once we've done that, we select this particular one here. Double click to make sure you highlight the one alone. You have to double click to actually have this up. So we want to turn on this particular action here and we open this place up. And here we have this particular type. We click on this and we go for bookmark. And that activates this particular bookmark for us. So we click on this and we look for where we have our active month. And here is the active month right here. That is beautiful. So double click on this one as well. So once that is active, go ahead and turn this on, open this up and do the same thing. You're gonna go with the bookmark as well. You click on this and this is your quarter. So you wanna locate where you have your active quarter in. So double click on this one to have it as well. So once you have this right in here, so you click on this one, you go for bookmark and this time around, we're going for year. So here, you only select the active one. So double click on this one and make sure you have this up. You select bookmark as well for the final time. All right, here we go. We select the weekday, the active one. Yeah, for sure. So guess what? This is working 100%. So all you have to do to test it out now is to hold the control key because right now we're on Power BI desktop, not on Power BI service. My control key is being held down. Select my month, my quarter, my year, and my weekday. So is active. Can you see that now? Can you see that now? Is 100% working for me. This is beautiful. This is what you need to know. Okay, we have some couple of visuals to add before we definitely go. Oh my goodness, what is that visual about? Let me show you guys. So now we're gonna create what I call context transition. Let's see what context transition is first before we definitely do that. All right, before we step into the next line of of our creation, let us look at what is context transition that we have right here. So when we talk about context transition, we're talking about a situation where we turn raw context into a filter context. Can you see that now? So the raw context is going to be turned into a filter context. So that is what we want to do. Ordinarily, it wouldn't have been possible for we to know on a table view how much each and individual of our customers spend. That is what we want to know now, the revenue they have or how many transactions they've had. So it is not easy to do that on the customer table. But right now we are going to do that with the help of what we call context transition. So let me show you what context transition is. In our visual, we're going to make use of that, and let's do that. So let us head to this particular data view here. And now I'm going to go into my, where is that customer? My customer table. Yeah, my customer table. So I want to actually create what I call customer rating right here. So the customer rating is not possible right now because I do not have what it takes for me to create my rating. I want to create my rating based on how many quantity a particular customer, how many transactions a particular customer have had with us over time. So for me to do that now, we have to use context transition to have that done. So before we go on, let us go to this particular part here and click on this particular transaction and see what measure we created to do this. So we use count rows to count the the fact table transaction and get how many rows we have, and that is actually our transaction, right? If we do this over the customer table, let's see what we're gonna have. So we have to come back here to the view area. So you see we have 16,000 over 16,000 transactions. So we're gonna go into our customer table right now. Let's get here. And now you can right click anywhere to actually insert a new column. New column. All right, with our new column here, I want to name this one total transaction. Okay, let me make you see this better. So we have to make sure we crank it up a little bit. So here is our total transaction. We're going to say equal to, and we use the count rows. The count rows helps us to actually count how many transactions we have using the fact table transaction, right? So with the count rows, I'm going to say fact table, and we're going to use the one with the transaction. If you don't know why we have fact table transaction and fact table return, you might want to return back to our first, second, and third video to actually get that. So here we go. If I actually have this closed and hit my enter key right now to commit this, let's see what the end result would definitely be. Can you see it right now? We have over 6K transaction, and the same value got repeated over and over again because this is actually more like of a filter context, trying to make it a raw context right now. This is not going to be cool, right? So how do we convert filter context to a raw context to a filter context instead? So this is not going to work right here. For we to make this work right now, we have to use calculate. So wrap this particular DAX code inside the calculate, and once I hit my enter right now, it's going to allocate to every single customer's how many transactions they've had over time. Can you see it right now? So we have some customers that doesn't have transaction with us. I don't know why that happened. Don't ask me how, but we can now see most of our transaction here by customers, 85 to 50 and all of that. So we can be able to do this with what we called context transition that we've just seen on our whiteboard. So this is exactly what it is. The question you might be having in mind right now is this: must I do this always? Why can't I use my measure? Yes, you just remind me something. You can use the measure you've created previously before now. It's not compulsory that you must use this. What do I mean? Let me just get off this particular code away from here. So we have this transaction as a measure. So once I hit my enter key, we are still going to have the same value right here. It doesn't change anything. Can you see it right now? we have the same thing right here. So I just showed you if you want to compose your measure from the scratch, you need to use calculate before it works. Can you see that now? Okay, I want to do one more before we definitely go. I'm going to show you one more of it. So let's insert a new column. Let's say we want to calculate, let's say we want to calculate the total revenue, and you want to see how much had every of this particular customer spend. So to do that right now, we can say revenue. So we put our equal to right here, shift enter. Okay, now, we can use some X, just like what we've done previously. Is this gonna work? Okay, let's see what that is. So we're gonna go with our fact table transaction now. So we put comma for the expression. We wanna say quantity order. So order, quantity, transaction, order, quantity. I think that should be this one here. So exactly. So we wanna multiply that by what? By our unit price. So it's gonna be unit price, this one here. And once I have this closed and I hit my enter key, it's gonna give me the same value over and over again. I just want to do this to clarify what is happening behind the scene for you. So if we do this, we have this. I think I talked about wrapping this inside. So let us do this and okay, give me some time. I want to take out the extra decimal of it. I want to have a holistic value right now. So what we have repeated over and over again here is the grand total. And to even those particular customer that doesn't have any purchase with us, they have been allocated some value. So we don't want to get this, right? So all you need to do now to change this into a context transition as well, changing row context into a filter context right now, is to use the calculate function to actually help you do that. So you wrap this particular code inside calculate. When you hit enter right now, you're going to have the right value. You see how much each and every customer spent. Can you see that right now? So those one that actually has the value of the grand total has been turned off and now is giving us blank. This is what it is. Okay, right now we don't actually need this revenue here. I just want to show you that this is exactly what you can do. You can use the measure that actually you have created for this right here as well. Just get it off and use the measure instead. But if you want to write it from the scratch, this is what you do. You need to wrap it inside the calculate function. Okay, we're going to make use of this transaction right here, right now. So what do you do to actually make sure you turn this into something that will actually create a filter for you? We don't really necessarily need to do this, because what measure can do, don't use calculated column to do it. But this is not what measure can do. That is why we're here. Okay, using the transition we've just done on the transaction, so we want to actually rate our customers. This is customer rating right here. So any customer that has purchased greater than 200, transaction greater than 200 should be categorized under diamond customers. So any customer that has purchased greater than what? Than 100 now should be categorized under the silver customer right here. And if it does not fall between these particular two right here, so we want to actually say it is actually gold customer. And remember, we have some, null or empty that we have to deal with, right? So for that, we just want to say no purchase. I'm going to show you how to handle that when the time comes. So let us leave the whiteboard right now to get back to what? To get back to our main Power BI next step. All right, here we are. What we need to do right now is to use the switch function. So I'm going to say customer rating. So under this customer rating here, what I need to do is for me to put my equal sign here. So shift enter to go into the new line. I'm going to use a switch function. First of all, I can decide to use a variable here. So it's just a simple variable. It's not too complicated. I want to name the variable transaction. Transaction. So inside this transaction, I'm gonna name inside this transaction. Okay, let me put underscore here so I can put my equal to here. So what happens when I just put this? And that means there is a function like this. Do we have a function like this? Because when we have a function, that is the only time it will allow us to use it. But you can trick it, put an underscore for you to be allowed to use this name. All right, so I want to store in my total transaction from the customer lookup. And guess what I've just done now? I have just stored in this particular, column here. This column here is what I've just stored in. All the value we have inside this column will be stored inside this particular transaction right here for easy retrieval to do what we want to do. So once you've gotten that now, Shift, enter, enter, and I'm going to have another variable right here. So it's going to be var, and this variable is going to be called result. So variable result, Shift, enter, indent it. So inside here, I'm going to use a function called switch. So before the switch function, we have to put our equal sign first. So switch, and it's only going to switch when it is true. It's going to be dealing with true and false. So I'm going to put my comma right here and start the first new line of code. So when we step down, you have to remember that particular variable we created called transaction. I'm talking about this variable with an underscore right here. So we come here, we say transaction. So if this transaction is actually greater than 200, so that means the customer in this group will be called diamond. I think I get my diamond right. Diamond. Okay. Comma. Shift, enter again. Transaction is greater than 100, comma. So the customer in this range will be called sliver. So you remember what we've done on the whiteboard? Then else, Shift, enter. We want to categorize any of those customers that doesn't fall between diamond and sliver into gold customer. So here we go. So Shift, enter, and we go ahead and close this. Okay, will it work? It wouldn't work. It will give us an error. We forget we just need to print this out. How do we print this on our screen? So we need to use the return function. Shift, enter, and we have to use the return function, return, and what the return will do is to return the result here for us. So if I now hit enter, this should work 100%. Okay, a very simple code to go through, very easy. If you don't know anything about this before, now you know. Okay, let us shut this down to see what we have right here. So we might have something a little bit not cool, right? So you see here, we don't have any transaction. Those ones as well does not have any transaction. And right here, we have a goal for them. How do we do away with this one? So we have to handle this, right? So to do that now, let us quickly go back here. And now I'm going to have it at the top here, Shift, enter. So I'm going to say transaction now. If the transaction is equal to blank. So if the transaction is equal to blank, so I want you to say, we can just decide to use blank there, or we say no value, or no transaction. So we say no transaction. So comma. So we hit enter. So we can decide to show blank as well. Just that. So let us look at what we have done. So let us go there. Now, can you see? We have no transaction right here because we don't have any value right on this. So we have no transaction and it has been fixed for us. So this is what we need to do at the back end here to actually get what we want done. So right now it is time for we to insert a new visual. And inside this visual, we want to go with this add, go to transaction, where could that be? Go to customer and go to your customer rating. This is the customer rating here. It's a calculated column. So we have them here. So quickly, we need to actually scroll down and go for this. And what we need now is the transaction from here. And we only have diamond, silver, and gold. So that no transaction will be filtered out automatically by what? By Power BI. So the chart we want to use this time around is this particular chart right here. So this is the chart we want to use. So we've gotten the chart already. So we can now fit this into this particular part like this. All right, so we're good to go. But one thing I don't like about this chart right now is that we don't have the color that matches what we are doing, right? I told you guys that I will never go back to that place. We do have to go back there right now. I'm talking about this particular color right here. If we don't see this color, I can't remember the code, we would have to go back to pop and then pick it up. But right now, let us try to see if the color is valuable here. I'm gonna click on this. Oh, thank God, we have the color here. So we got our first color. Our second color should be something very calm. So yeah, something like this. Okay. Let's use something like this. Okay, we might want to use something a bit different. Yeah, something like this would be cool for us. So I can quickly go ahead and shut down the board. Is it the border? The background, if there's any. Yeah, we have this. Almost at a complete version of this dashboard. All right, beautiful. Okay, the next thing we're gonna do right now is to make sure we have this here. We'll go down to this, copy, paste. We bring it here. And now, before we do anything, we want to change the color of this one, probably to something like this. Would be cool. Let us be consistent with our colors. So I'm gonna go with this color here. All right. So for the call loud value here, so you want to go with something like this. That is better. So what we want to change now is to change this one to total customers. So we go down here, right? So we have the customers. So those are numbers of customers that we have. Can you see that now? So here's our numbers of customers. So you can just make sure this is a bit closer. So take your time to have this formatted and all of that. So I want to change this to something like this, something bolder. So we have the complete version of this dashboard right now. The next thing I'm going to do right away is for me to go to my insert here. I go to my text box, and inside this text box, I want to type in transaction detail. So transaction details. So here we go. Highlight everything. Let me put it on 12. I think putting it on 16 will be better. And after that, I'm gonna highlight this alone and make sure I choose to use a bolder font for that part. So now I can reduce it a little bit and move it away from there to this particular part here. So what next can we do is for we to go ahead and turn the background off. So here we go. So this is exactly what it is for transaction. Okay, right for this one here, we have to say detail analysis. So what do we do to get this done? I'm gonna go here and double click on this. Once I double click on it, I'm gonna come here, copy, paste. So here we go. We have this right here. Don't worry, we're going to move whatever we have on it. going to take it off because this is going to help us navigate to another page. So we don't want somebody to click on this one. I'm going to expand it to this particular aspect here because I want to actually on a hover to do something, but I don't actually want this particular color on it. So what you can do now is to quickly go ahead and, you know, make sure you change a lot of things that you don't want. So go for the fill color for the first time. For the fill color, I'm going to turn the fill color off. Okay. Now we scroll all the way up to where we have the quote writing and change the quote title to something like detail analysis. So detail analysis like this, and we have to crank it up. Okay. I can just say, okay, let me move this way. No. Let us put it on the center, in the middle. So on a hover, nothing happens right now. We want to go ahead and treat the hover aspect of it. I'm gonna go up a bit. So it's at default. On a hover, I want something to happen. So I might want to change the color on a hover. What you can do right now is on a hover, I want the to be like, yeah, on a hover, I want to have something like this. And for the color, I want to change it to this once I hover over it. Can you see now? So I have this effect right on this. On Power BI service, is going to look very, very great for you. Can you see this now? So don't worry, we're going to change this after all. But before we do that, the most complicated part of this work is where we are going into right now. So how do we do this? Let us double this particular page right here. So I'm going to name this one transaction. So transaction. So I will just plus this. Oh, no, sorry, we don't have to do this. So I'm going to take this off back to here. So we right click and duplicate this. All right, if I say this is the most complicated part, please guys understand this is the most complicated part. You have to pay attention to actually have this done. First of all, we need to change our template. So I'm going to go here, remove this one, click on this. This time around, let's just do with something like quantity ordered. So that's switch it to this particular part here. I want to change the color of this one. Quickly, we do this and we click and change it to white. So we close this and we'll click on this. We convert it to something like this. So now we have to make sure we do the same thing to this one as well. Oh, sorry. You want to use something much more darker like this would be cool. Right. So we go with this one as well. Take your time to actually have a nice formatting. Oh, nicely done. Okay. Now that we've gotten this down, what do we do next? We have to make sure we change all of these to what? We change all of these to quantity. And how possible is that? If I mess up with this unnecessarily right now, what is going to happen is that it's going to mess up this particular page. So we have to use our number 6 to actually have this done. First of all, I want to name this one QTY ordered. All right. Let's take a deep breath to see how we can do this. If you think it's a lie, just pause this video and do it on your own and see if you're going to get it. But I just know for sure that it's not going to work. To make it work, we have to calm down to do this. So what do? So we're going back to here. So now, as you can see, if I click on this, it's still on this particular previous one. And now we have to do something extraordinary different. How do we do that? Let's find out. All right, let's get started after you have taken a lot of deep breath. So now, whatever I do here now, if I click on this here, you can see this is showing. If I go here now and click on this,
it automatically switches to this particular part right here, which is not really healthy right now. So let us get back here. Please don't change anything yet until you are done with the navigation before you change anything. If I decide to change anything right now, it will change what is here, because this one here has a direct link to this one, and this one has a direct link to this one. They're just like the same visual, right? So what do we do for the first time? Here we go. So make sure you click on this. This is what is being selected. Go under your selection. The month is being selected. So go for the month bit here. With your control key, make sure you select all of them. So now this is your active months. So the reason why I put T here is for me to identify transaction. So right now I'm gonna actually add a new bookmark here. And right now I'll call this one, this is gonna be my active queue for quantity months. So you do this, come here and select this, check, and do this again, update. Let's get back here. Now we are back right here. So what we can do now is to hold our control key to select this one, because this is going to be our inactive, turn this back on and turn this off this time around. So we are on month. Make sure you select month. That is better. So go back here now, add a new one. Be consistent with how you name them. Inactive queue month. So this will definitely help you to identify it if you want to actually, give the action to a button. So we click right here and we do away with this. We go ahead and actually update this. Let's check it out. If I select this one now, it stays in here and it works perfectly. So what else can we do? We can now change what we have here. Click on this particular part and go ahead and update the value area from from transaction now to quantity. That is gonna be better. So we have just updated this one. So let us go back to the previous one. Does this affect this here? So I'm clicking on this. So it doesn't. Here we're still seeing transaction by what? By month. And right now we are seeing quantity by month. So beautiful. Can you see what we have done? I'm not going to do everything. I want to show you one more time what I've done in case you don't catch it up for the first time. So let us go back here. Okay, right in this. I'm going to make sure I put it on inactive. So right now it's on inactive. I'm going to come here. I want to do for my, okay, let's just choose weekday. I've selected weekday. I'm going to select the weekday bit in here. And for now, I want to go back to my bookmark and add a bookmark for inactive weekday. Double click on it and say inactive queue weekday. So come to the three dots, select data, come here and update it. So go back here now, hold your control key, turn this on, open this place up, turn this on, turn this off. Go back here, add a new bookmark, double click on this, and now it will be active queue weekday. So what do? We just follow the same step. We update it. Oh, nicely done, right? So if I select this, that is beautiful. So let us see how we can actually give the action to it. So we have for month. So I'm going to double click on month. So now we have to make sure we turn this on. It's already on. Select this, change it from this to quarter for month, active month. Here is active month. So double click on this one as well. Click on this, come here. So weekday Is it active? What I want? Now hold the control to test it out. If we are still within this and this one is still selected, that means it's correct. We are here. We are here. Oh my goodness, it worked. So for those ones, once I click on this one now, it's going to navigate us here. Can you see it now? So you can do this all by yourself. So now if I take you back to the main work we have done on this particular part of the Power BI service right now, you will now understand how you can do this all by yourself. Let us look at the navigation and see what we have done if it rhymes with this. So you can create this all by yourself. So we still have one more page to create, but this is exactly what it is that you need to know. If I click on this particular month right now, you can see this is exactly what we have. So it has been updated. So we need to do this as well, and all of that. So one more thing that we have not actually touched is that if we are on weekday, we don't want to see transaction. What we want to see right now is actually the quantity ordered. So we have to scroll down to actually change it from transaction to quantity ordered. So we scroll up a little bit and here we go. So we can now go ahead and select this. So can you see how the navigation works right now? It has changed the value we have right here. So you can decide to turn on the tally bell for every one of them. So now here we go. If this is what you want, so you can do that. So if the data label is going to be turned on, so there is no need for this particular axis right here to be turned on. So why don't we shut off the y-axis this time around? Beautiful, right? So it's clean. So do that to every part of it. And when we come back in our next part, we're going to see how to actually do the finished work right here. Specifically, if you have not watched this particular part here, and that is going to be the return analysis. The return analysis is a bit different from what we have done right now, but not really complicated. So this is the part that is going to be very much fun, where we can select top 1, top 2, top 3, down to top, top 30. You understand? So now you can just do this particular dynamic top end right here. I'm going to show you how to do this, and as well how to integrate it in multiple, our dimension. So we have it on product, and now we can have it on customer. So we're seeing our customer here by top 6 now, and we can decide to see our customer by our product by top 6, and we can reduce it from top 6 to top 3, and that is what we see. Not only that, we have not actually done the home page right here, where we can actually make a date range selection. So whatever we select from here, between here and here now, is what we're going to see in any of our dashboard. If I click on report, let's see what we have. So we're going to have this particular date that we have actually selected. So between these two dates is what we are seeing the analysis on right now. So if you go back home and you want to adjust the date, if I reduce the date now, so let's see what we have. 6 and 9. So the 6 and 9, 6th month, the 5th month to the 9th, the 5th month of 2010 to the 9th month of 2013. So if I click on this now, that should be what I am seeing. Can you see that right now? So we're going to do all this right there. And as well, we have this particular product part where we can take a look at how we can actually get things done here. So when you select any of the product category, you see more detail about that. So it's very simple and easy. Integrating this will make your life very easy, and you'll make your boss to feel like, wow, I think you've arrived. So ladies and gentlemen, if you have not hit the subscribe button, you might want to do that right now, because I have some goodies for you guys. So click on the link below this video and go to my YouTube channel to keep watching more video on Power BI,